Welcome to Project Intake with Prioritization and Resource Forecast. A good intake process is key to ensuring we select the right projects, get the biggest bang for our buck, and set realistic expectations for what can be accomplished with the people available. Having a good format to capture business cases is the foundation for all of this. We start by capturing the essence of the proposed initiative. That's the background, problem statement, business benefits, the department that will run the project, target start and finish dates, perhaps investment category and location. It could also be high-level costs, financial benefits, and ROI. Or those may be entered in a more detailed budget with a plan for how and when the money will be spent. If you have more business cases than you can fund and staff, scoring is also going to be important. This is essentially an evaluation of how the business case aligns to the impact areas that are important to the business. The examples here are ones we see used quite often, but you may have your own or perhaps tweak the measures for each. Once we complete this assessment, the overall priority score is calculated. This is what we'll see used later to prioritize the list of initiatives we're evaluating, and also to prioritize which projects and business cases get staffed first. You will want to identify the resource needs for your project. That's typically a high-level estimate of what roles will be needed for the project and the relative effort. It's best practice to build your resource plan with generic roles as opposed to named individuals. In our case, we'll pick the roles needed for this project and then enter the estimate for how many hours over a given period of time. The resource needs are often a key selection criterion, so it's important to be as accurate as possible here. If your business case has standard contract deliverables, major outcomes, or documents that you already know about, they can also be entered at this point, but it's not strictly necessary for the prioritization process that follows. You could also start capturing any known risks at this time or key decisions that you know will need to be made. You may even capture any benefits that we will want to track as part of the project. Once we have a completed business case, we will want to submit it for approval so that it's in queue to be evaluated. Even though you could submit and approve a single business case outside the normal approvals process, it's most common to evaluate a group of business cases, typically either on a quarterly or annual basis. This way, we get a nice overview of all the initiatives we're considering. I can see how long each business case has been in queue, what the target start and finish dates are, as well as effort, cost, financial benefits, and ROI for each. Many stakeholders also want to see business cases on a timeline for a more visual representation. With an aggregated view of all the resource needs, we can easily see what the all-up demand is across roles. In the example here, I can see where engineers are being requested. Or we can look at it by initiative. Here's the one we submitted earlier. The scoring model produces a prioritized list of initiatives. This is helpful when we want to understand the initiatives that have the biggest impact before factoring in cost and resource needs. In other words, if we had unlimited funds and resources, we would simply start at the top and work our way down the list. Since most organizations do need to consider those, we can also do some what-if modeling to pick the best projects based on their score and cost, although you could also start with resources first. In the example here, we can model which projects would provide the biggest bang for our buck with a $1 million budget, or perhaps $3.5 million. The ones above the line provide the best combination of value for money. If we also apply a score threshold, then we can further exclude based on relative value. Once we've picked the projects that fit our cost and score thresholds, it's time to look at whether we have enough resources to staff them as well. And when it comes to staffing, we need to factor in work that's already in progress. That is, work we've previously committed to that is not yet done. In this view here, the dark blue bars represent that committed allocation. The red line is the resource capacity we have, and the light blue bars represent the new work from the business cases we're evaluating. That makes it relatively easy to see visually whether we've got enough bandwidth to do the new proposed initiatives. If we switch the view to show those initiatives in a prioritized stack bar view, we'll even see which ones should be staffed first and which ones we won't have enough resources to do. Looking at it this way and cross-referencing with the table below then shows us how many FTEs or full-time equivalents we'd need to hire for each role. Let's assume that we're moving forward with the business case we submitted earlier. There are typically two parts to the approval. First is approving the business case so that it becomes an approved project in the organization. The mechanics of that approval can vary greatly, but our clients tend to favor a process where we send out a notification that an approval is pending, typically in an email and as a notification in Microsoft Teams. Then the electronic approval itself so that we can track who approved it. Second is the approval of the resource requests. At this time, we're approving the requested resources by allocating a named individual to perform the work requested for each role. The project will now show up in the dashboards, reports, and views for approved projects, and the resources will show as allocated to that project. Now the real work starts. The team can start doing the work on the detailed scope of the project. If this content was valuable to you, please click the thumbs up icon below and consider subscribing to our channel. We have a lot more great content in the pipeline.